Hey everyone, this is my game, round four game from the New Westminster tournament that I played in probably about 2 months ago now. My opponent, his name is Rohan, so he's going to show me what the Knights of Rohan can do. Not much. So going into this game, I was expecting probably my toughest game yet because I had won my first three games. So I'm playing against somebody who also won their first three games. Um, but I think as it turns out, this is probably the best game I played of the tournament. Definitely better than my next two games, which, ugh, ugh, they were not good. But yeah, this is probably my cleanest win. I didn't really miss any opportunities. I made a lot of kind of best moves in the position, and this especially in positions where I only had one move or where making the right move gave me a big advantage. So I'm happy looking back at this game. I was 10 minutes late for this game because I like being late because I like giving my opponents a false sense of maybe they'll win by default. And when I came in, my opponent had already played f4. F4 is a bit of a suspicious opening move because it weakens your king immediately. Now this diagonal is open to the king, and also when the f pawn is on f4, that means it's not on f2, so it can't defend your king. You relinquish a lot of control of these two squares here, so that's not good. But it's an aggressive opening, and he was trying to play aggressively. And what happened throughout the game is he left too many holes in his defense, and I was able to attack and actually prove that my king was far safer than his king, and my attack actually worked, whereas his attack was non-existent. But he tried anyway. So f4, I played knight f6, knight f3, d5, and here already I don't agree with this move because g3. I thought the whole idea was of f4 was to start, pushing his pawns this way and attack my king. But when he's playing g3, he wants to put his bishop here and onto this diagonal, which is the opposite of where my king is. So I'm sure he had a plan here. I just don't see it, and it didn't come to fruition throughout the game. I played bishop g4, so this attacks his knight. His knight is defended at the moment by the e pawn, but it makes it a lot less attractive to move his e pawn now because then his knight will be pinned to his king or to his queen even. He played bishop g2, defending his knight again. E6, just solid, defending this pawn. D3, bishop c5, and I think here he set the world record for pawn moves in a row, which I don't recommend doing in the opening. So in his last move he played e6, and now he plays, he played d3. He played, and now he played d4. So this does two things. This does a lot of things wrong actually. First of all, he's not developing his queen side, so he's not getting these pieces out. Second of all, he's already moved this pawn. He moved to d3 last turn, and now he's moved it again, purely with the intention of attacking my bishop. But I don't mind, I saw it, so I moved my bishop. So now my bishop is out. It was here, now it's here, so it's on a much better diagonal. Maybe it'll go here sometime, which it will too. And all he's done is moved the same pawn twice, so he's wasted two moves doing what he could have done in one move. He played c3, continuing his chain of pawn moves. Knight b to d7, b3. Don't ask me to explain any of these moves, by the way. I can't. I played c5, so I want to open up the center. I'm ready to castle here, so my king is going to be safe basically whenever I want it to be safe. His king is also one move away from castling, but he's moved these pawns already. Well, he's moved these two already, so his king is open, and so castling for him is a bit more suspicious. So what I want to do, since my king is ready to castle and is safer, I want to open up the center at some point and demonstrate that his king is going to be exposed in the center, and as discussed already, it'll be exposed to be castle's king side as well. Again, continues with his chain of pawn moves, e3, and this he pins his own knight to his queen now, so now his knight can't move. And then I put my knight in the center, knight to e4. So this puts a lot of pressure in his position now because he now needs to watch out for my knight going to f2. My knight is putting pressure on this pawn, so he can't really develop this knight without losing a pawn. So he addresses that. He pushes c4, Again, he played c3 and then he played c4. So he's just wasting a lot of time here. And he's also doing, he's helping me out because he's now encouraging me to, I've got 2 ways to capture now to open up the center to get at his king. So he's you know, playing very suspiciously. I castle here, getting my king safe. He finally developed his bishop, puts it on this diagonal, but this opens up a tactic. Not really a tactic, but there's a strong move in the position that ensures that his king will never be safe. It's not actually the top computer recommended move, but I think it's the second or third. I think it's probably the more human one. So if you want to pause and just see if you can find the move and see why bishop to bishop b2 wasn't a good move. So if you paused, great, and if you didn't, the move is bishop a5. This is check, and you can't really block this check. If you, for example, if you block with the knight, then I'll just take it. You can only ever capture with the queen or the knight. Whichever capture there you do, you're losing your queen. Obviously, if you play queen captures, I'll capture with the knight. And if you play knight captures, then I take your queen because your knight is pinned. So here, after bishop a5, he has to move his king. So he'll never go castled. He'll never castle now. And this also stops his rook from getting out. So now his rook doesn't have a lot of squares to go to. And it also restricts his bishop movement as well. His bishop can't go back to f1. I continue developing, knight to f6. This reinforces this knight here, so if he ever tries to bring his knight out here to trade, I can now replace the knight with a brand new knight, because my knight's very good in the center. Queen to c2. I played rook to c8, lining my rook up with his queen. So now at some point in the future I can capture here, or if he captures here, that's probably not good for him. He put a nice knight in the center. It's well reinforced by the f and the d pawn. And I played bishop back to f5. So this lines up with his queen. And if he just makes a silly move, say he plays this, I've got discovered checks where I can play here, capturing the g pawn, putting him in check, and attacking his queen. So this would win his queen. He didn't do that, obviously. Oh, but here he made an almost as bad a move. So here, this is a good lesson for chess and for any competitive activity you do in life. If you make a bad move, don't bury your head in your hands and go, oh no. You know, if you make a bad move, whether it be in chess or in poker or in, you know, anything, just try to, don't act like you've made a bad move, like, because that's what my opponent did here. He played bishop captures on e4, and the rule in tournament chess is that when you touch a piece, you have to move it, and if you touch one of your pieces and then touch one of your opponent's pieces as if to capture, then you have to play the capture. So he picked up his bishop, grabbed my knight, and put the bishop down. And then, as he was taking my knight off the board, went, oh no! And now, I probably would have seen this anyway. This is simple enough, but you shouldn't do that because maybe there's a chance I won't see the winning move here. But if you want to pause the video and see what the winning move here for black, it's quite simple. I hope you found bishop captures bishop. And the reason this is winning is because I'm now forking his pieces. I'm forking the queen and the rook. And in cases like this, I have had games where I've lost a rook for a bishop or for a knight, but I can still play on and keep, stay competitive in the game, because in some cases you can, when you lose your rook, you can capture the bishop back or capture the knight back, and you're still equal on pieces, even if you've lost a more valuable piece for a less valuable piece. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes that happens. The reason that this is particularly bad is because he needs to move his queen, or else he loses his queen, right? But there's nowhere he can move his queen that defends his rook. Well, there's only one place that does it. He can move here, but I don't know. That doesn't look like a good move to me. So here he played queen to e2. I probably would have resigned here, but yeah, whatever. He played on. I respect that. I captured the rook in the corner. He developed his knight finally. and I captured it because I'm up a piece already. Some people would say that you shouldn't trade material when you're ahead. You should just keep pressure on your opponent. But trading material is probably the cleanest and simplest way to win. So he recaptured the bishop. I retreated my bishop back here because I don't want my bishop to get trapped at some point. If I leave it there, it's still probably fine. But if I just play a silly move like h6, he can start doing stuff like this where he's got discovered attacks on my bishop, and then I don't know. Then I probably save my bishop. Yeah. But that's not what happened. So after bishop e4, he played bishop a3, attacking the pawn here. But I saw it, and I defended it. And he played g4, he wants to attack my king. As a kind of a last desperado, he just wants to see if he can open my king up. And maybe get a perpetual check or even checkmate me. That's not going to happen. There's a grandmaster called Yasser Serouan. He's a great little saying: when you see a pawn storm coming, treat it like a snowstorm. You just get out of the way. So I played knight to d7 here. I'm getting my knight out of the way. So when he plays g5 eventually, he's not attacking my knight. And I'm ready to push my own pawns in response if I need to now. The f pawn is no longer blocked. So he played queen to f2. I took out his knight, again, just trading material. His knight was his best piece, and now it doesn't exist, so that's good. He recaptured with the d-pawn. He wants to bring pawns closer to my king, so he recaptured that way. He could recapture with the f-pawn and open up the file for the queen, but my rook is defending the f7 pawn, so I don't think this would lead to anything for him. I took a pawn on the pawn on c4. He played at f5 again. He just wants to attack and try to open lines up and see if he can get some kind of checkmating attack. But I played queen to d3 check, and this is where there's a few more good moves left in the game now. He played queen or king to g1. I lined my rook and my queen up on this file, and I'm ready to start infiltrating here on the d2 square. So he plays rook to e1, letting me infiltrate on d2. So I play queen to d2. He blocked with the rook. He doesn't want to trade queens because he wants to keep his queen alive. But now after I check, and after he blocks with the rook, you can pause the video here if you want to see what the winning capture is. But queen takes g4 is that's pretty good. And he blocked with the queen because I'm thinking in this position. King to g1 is a bit, or king to f1 is a bit suspicious, because I think I have, what do I have here actually? Oh, this guy. Why would I do king to f1? Probably, oh yeah, bishop d3 check looks really good. Yeah, that would do. So I don't think he saw another good move for his king, so he blocked with the queen. And again, I could trade queens here and just be a full rook up. But I decided just to win another pawn. I played bishop captured in f5, and after this move he resigned. Overall, I was very happy with this game. There wasn't really much, he played very suspiciously at the start, and he broke a lot of opening principles. So if you go back, playing f4, weakening his king immediately wasn't good. I mean, it's fine if you maybe follow up with an aggressive opening, but he didn't do that. And again, here he broke the record for pawn moves, 6 in a row. So that's good for me. And after I get my king save, he blundered with bishop to b2, and now a lot of moves here win. I played one of them, and after that, at this point his king was never safe, and he was always on the back foot. And as you can see, these pieces aren't exactly contributing much to the game, whereas pretty much all of my pieces are out. My pieces are lovely. I highlight all my pieces here. My knight is coming here to d6 or f6. I'm ready to bring my rooks into the game, and I'm ready to bring my queen into the game. So all my pieces here are good and active. My king is safe. His pawn structure is all over the place. He's leaving a lot of holes in his defenses, and his pieces aren't developed. So I hope you enjoyed that game. I'll try to come back. I've got 2 more games left to cover, and they're both games I did not win. The both games I should have lost actually, and I was very lucky to not lose them. But they'll be fun. So hopefully I'll get to those very soon. So thanks very much for watching, and I will talk soon.